The subconscious mind and what nobody tells you. The truth is, you have the most powerful piece of technology in the entire cosmos, and it rests in an invisible area called your mind. It's your subconscious. Now, the hidden hands of the world have known this information about the subconscious and deliberately used it to program you. But here's the thing. There are some things that you don't know about the subconscious mind that when you learn them, you're literally going to be able to change your entire life, to literally take the dreams, ideas, things you desire in your mind, your imagination, and create them in your life. One time Steve Jobs says that the world was built by people no smarter than you, and when you realize that, you can mold it, shape it, and change it however you want. But those last few words there are the powerful ones. You can mold, shape, and change the world, your world, any way that you want, whether it's your bank account, whether it's your confidence, your self-esteem, how you are around men, how you are around women, your financial life, where you live, what it's like in your day-to-day life. You can literally recreate it if you know how to use the subconscious mind. So I'm going to share with you what you don't know about it, and this is going to be incredibly powerful and something that's going to allow your life to just kind of kick into hyperspeed, kind of like the cars and you press the button and it goes into hyperspeed. That's what's going to happen with your subconscious mind. So make sure you hit the like button on this side or this side right over there, and let's dive right into this video. Okay, so here's the first thing. The best analogy for the subconscious is just like software in a computer, right? You get a computer, maybe it's like working pretty slow. You're not getting the results out of the operating system that you want. The browsers are loading all slow, or maybe it doesn't have GarageBand and you want to make music, or it doesn't have Photoshop and you want to be able to make images or edit photos. So the actual operating system doesn't have the things that you want. What do? You update the software. Well, the first thing you do, probably even before then, is you would look to see if there's a virus in it. At least that was how it used to be on the computers growing up. So you'd hit the virus checking system, and it would let you know all the glitches or viruses in the operating system that were affecting the results that you wanted out of it. And then you could just take the files, drag them into the trash bin, hit empty trash, put some new software on. All of a sudden, this thing starts zinging and it's working like it's a brand new computer. You're getting an amazing performance out of the operating system or the software. This is exactly what your mind is like, and ultimately how reality is. 95% of your life is subconscious. The word sub means below, so it means that it's below conscious. So it's a software that is operating, it's the operating system that is controlling the supercomputer that is your brain and your life, and thus your reality that you're experiencing. This is where the whole idea, and Elon Musk went viral because he was like, reality is a simulation. And that's something a lot of people say, is reality a simulation? The reason that we think that or contemplate that is because we don't understand the operating system of our life, which is subconscious. Sub means below conscious, so we aren't consciously aware of it. So it seems as if we're in this giant simulation, and I guess you could call it a simulation because it's a result off of perception. It's a result off of a subconscious hidden hand system we aren't aware of. And the thing is that just like a computer software has an ability to be reprogrammed, you do as well. And so when I started learning all this, I started going the first step. Okay, so if the subconscious in my life is just like a computer, then what's the first thing I do, right? I would run that virus scan. And I found out I had a lot of viruses in my thinking. I was 19 and I decided to drop out of college. I went and backpacked around the world. I wrote a book about it, Into the Wind, my 6-month journey wandering the world for life's purpose. And I had so much inner and outer resistance. pretty much everybody thought it was a bad idea. I shouldn't do it. Old friends from high school made fun of me. I got denied by all the publishing companies. I failed junior English class when I was in high school, and I had ADD and ADHD medication. I thought I had all these studying and attention problems. I thought I was dumb. And so I had all this inner and outer resistance. And I was like, okay, what are my viruses? And I started checking them off the box. I'd always been unaware of them. That's what it means, subconscious. It means it's happening, it's programmed into you, it's software on the virus slowing the operating system down, not getting you the results that you want, and you don't know it's happening because it's running beyond your conscious mind. And the thing is, you still have free will and awareness. You are really, that's your the greatest attribute you have. The greatest attribute that you have to your life is self-awareness. So I use self-awareness and I go, okay, what are my viruses? Well, I realized my viruses were basically the unconscious assumptions that I had about reality that were controlling my life. They were controlling my behaviors, they were controlling my habits, they were controlling my perceptions, and they were controlling the experiences that I was creating in my life. One in which I wrote this book, everyone was telling me no, all the publishers said no, the agents said no, friends and family saying, what are you doing? You're insane, this is never gonna work, you're too young, you're 20 years old, this is gonna blah, 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 blah. And I realized mine was, I thought I was too young. That was the first virus in my software. And then I thought that success and money were bad and evil, and if I dropped out of college to pursue like my purpose in an altruistic endeavor, it's bad if you create success out of it, right? So obviously I wasn't attracting the situations that I want. And I went down the list and I ran a virus scan on my subconscious, and I realized, wow, here's what they are. And I came up with the rest of them, and I decided to reinstill a new software into my system. And I, just the same way that you can put a new software on a computer, I did it to my subconscious. Now, I invite you to start thinking about your life in the exact same way. Your bank account is a software installation or an app installation into your subconscious that's controlling the bank account that you see in your life. It's the same thing with your confidence. It's the same thing with the people that you attract. It's the same thing with your success. And if you can if you can install a new software, you can change your life. The second thing to know about the subconscious is that another analogy would be like a record player. You know, a record player, let's say it's one of those 8-track, those old school ones, right? And it's just got this little record here and it's got 12 songs on it. And those 12 songs will keep repeating over and over and over in a circle, in a circle, in a circle through your speaker system. And that's basically what the subconscious does with your thought patterns, your perceptions, and your habits in life. Is they work exactly like a record player. It's kind of like you do something that you swore you were going to stop doing as a part of your New Year resolution, and 4 days later you do it, and you told your friend to help keep you accountable, and your friend says, what are you doing? Why did you do that? You just said you were going to stop doing that. And you say, I don't know why I did it. I can't help it. It's because it's subconscious. So as long as we're working from the conscious mind, we can't change it. So what I did to address that is I created a success hypnosis for myself when I was 20 years old, and it told me how successful I was. It told me that I was inspiring millions of people. My books were selling. I was an international author, and like I was reaching millions of people, and I had this huge successful business. And I would just allow this thing to play into my subconscious, in essence, to really slowly install a new software. It's kind of like if you have so many viruses on your computer that it takes like a half an hour just to like click out of one of your web browsers. Everything's moving so damn slow. And so you're trying to install a new software into it, but it's like taking forever. It's like, oh my gosh, this software is going to take like 18 hours to install. And it's like our whole lives we've been programmed to this record player that was genuinely a subconscious operating system we didn't choose. A lot of times that's limited and it has all these inferior belief systems in it. And now all of a sudden it just takes a little while to reprogram it. So if you want to use my free success hypnosis, it's right there down below. It's jakeshypnosis.com. It's pinned to the comments right there down below. And it's my free success hypnosis. Like 1 million people have used it now, which is pretty nuts in and of itself. So it's pinned to the comments. It's jakeshypnosis.com. So the third thing that's important to know is that a lot of it's from childhood, right? So maybe your parents struggled with money and your dad used to always say money is the root of all evil, the rich people control the whole world, or, whatever it is. So we often inherit that. It's just kind of like a really ordinary example is kind of like, think about how most people's political views come from the household they were in, right? Because at the dinner table, that was what their parents talked about. They had either a blue Republican news station on, or a blue Democrat news station on, or a red Republican on all the time growing up, one side or the other. They always heard their views. And then like when they're 30, they kind of just think the same way their parents do. That's a perfect example of the childhood programming that we get. Only it's not just for politics. This is for everything. This is for the foods that we eat, what we think about health. Do we exercise? What do we think about money? Where's our self-esteem? Is it high or is it low? Have we adopted certain skills, or do we have a very cemented mindset where we just believe, I can't memorize stuff well, I'm not very good with numbers, I'm not a very good speaker, I always get nervous in front of people. Do we have a fixed mindset, a very fixed one, or do we have an open one? We've inherited all these things from childhood, from our parents, or from the adult figure that raised us, or from the television and movies that we listen to most often, to the music that we listen to most often. We're very impressionable, especially up until our teenage years, because that's where a lot of the neural memory that we build comes from. And then it plays itself out for the rest of our life. And most people can free themselves of it if they can recognize that it's not them, right? Because what happens is we inherit these things from our younger years in life, these certain perceptions, habits, belief systems, self-images, all these things. And they become a part of our subconscious. They memorize into our neural networks of our brain, and they become these synaptic connections that play themselves out in our life. And so we have those thoughts and emotions and feelings and behaviors and habits for so long that we think it's us. This is just who I am. But the funny thing is, remember, 95% of your life is subconscious. It's just a habit. We're robots. The only thing that's different is we're not a robot in the traditional sense of it just does one thing. Because we can rewrite the operating system. We can put new software in. But we basically become like robots that play out our childhood thought patterns and younger year thought patterns that we developed. So when you realize that those thoughts in your head aren't even you, they're just a habit plan, then you can be free from them. You're no longer identified with, well, I'm not very smart and I'm unlovable, and whatever it is that your virus is. You can have a separation between your consciousness and this record player, this software, this virus that's been happening. And that separation in identification from it is what allows us to rewrite and reprogram it. Okay, so the fourth thing that you need to know is that it is not New Age, this is neuroscience. So this is not New Age. And people make those comments, yeah, you're so New Age. This isn't New Age. There's something called neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is basically meaning that the brain is changeable. And we've now learned through all these neural imaging and all these types of things that we can do with our more advanced technology, we found that emotions and thoughts hardwire into the brain. They build synaptic connections. They build actual little networks in the brain in the same way that when you go to an old forest, all those trees in the forest are all connected through an underground root system. On the surface above the soil, they all look like individual trees, but underneath, it's this vast, amazing root system that's all connected together. It's all interwebbed together. Well, that's basically what happens to the neural connections in your brain. They're these vast little synaptic connections, neural networks that all wire together inside your brain. And that becomes the way that your brain habitually and automatically creates your reality, all through your nervous system, through everything, how you feel, how you think, your biology. And that stores all of our memories that then we recreate in our life. Only we know through neuroplasticity now that the brain can actually be changed. We used to say, well, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, you're always going to be just like your dad, Bill. We know that if through free will, we know that we can now retrain our neural connections. So this isn't new age, this is neuroplasticity. You can literally put a new software into your brain if you are disciplined enough to take consistent action to what they call now is pruning. It's called pruning in neuroscience. So pruning is when you have a collection of neural networks, right? And maybe they're your neural networks that fire and wire this whole electromagnetic signals through your nervous system and your cells and make you feel like you're generally a stress ball or you have this problem or whatever it is. Your little neural networks about your finances and all of these things that plug you into the matrix as the story of you, as you, Jake Ducey, I'm this tall and this is my life and here's my results. Those neural connections, they can actually, if you start retraining your emotions differently, you can actually have these other branches of networks fall apart, like literally erase. Just in the same way that you can drag software into the computer, hit the empty trash button and erase it. You can erase the old patterns from your brain. It's called pruning. That's the term in neuroscience when old neural networks or old synaptic connections essentially break apart and unmemorize. You've unlearned them. You've unlearned your limitations, or you've unlearned this old story or pattern or habit in your life, and you've retrained or you've relearned it, and you've built a new synaptic connection or new neural networks. You've turned your brain into an ideal operating system, one in which you have the life you want and the emotions that you want. You've programmed it into your brain using neuroplasticity. This isn't new age. This is new science. So this is the thing that really changed my life now. The next thing that's important to know is, just like anything else, there are certain tools that are best for it, that work best to upgrade it. Just like there are certain tools on a computer, or there's certain tools if you're fixing an oven. I have no idea what they are because I don't know how to fix ovens. Just like there are certain tools on the motor of your car that are best utilized to improve it, there are certain tools for your mind. There are certain tools to take advantage of neuroplasticity. The ones that I fell in love with were really hypnosis. And when I started doing that, I started to actually recreate who I was. It was literally like I went into the operating system, pressed delete on a bunch of stuff I didn't want anymore, and then I rewrote it. And I rewrote myself as a world influential author and thought leader, inspiring millions of people with a massively successful business. I programmed it into me day after day after day. I wrote those statements in a journal day after day after day after day. And it changed my life. So one of the tools that I suggest that you utilize is my free success hypnosis. It's pinned to the comments right there down below. It's jakeshypnosis.com right there down below. So you can utilize my free success hypnosis. About 1 million people from all over the world have now used it, which is really insane in and of itself to see how quickly that many people started retraining their minds. So it's free to use. All you got to do is just listen to it for a couple minutes and start to take advantage of the ability that you have to rewrite the operating system of your life. So check out Jake's Hypnosis, pinned to the comments right there down below. And thank you for watching this video. My name is Jake Ducey with JakeDucey.com. If you are a subscriber, I appreciate you coming back and watching this video all the way through. I wanted to make a thorough video to help you understand the mind and the subconscious on a deeper level. So please be sure to leave a comment right there down below, and make sure you hit the like button on this side or this side if you are new and this is one of the first videos you've seen. Welcome to the community, and thank you for subscribing now as well. So have an absolutely great day. Make sure you check out Jake's Hypnosis, pinned to the comments right there down below.